HDTV is brought to you by Harley Davidson Financial Services, Northside Harley Davidson and the Fraser Harley Davidson Group, and the Bayford Group, celebrating 100 years, along with Harley Davidson, Australia.
Gotta get on the road, gotta get on the gas. Got that white line fever, I really wanna pass. Gotta stay on the road, that feels like home. While sitting on my Harley, I'm never
This week on HDTV, we've been invited by Mustang Motorsport to a racetrack to put our Harleys and the Bayford Harley Davidson Mustang through their paces.
Welcome to Mustang Motorsports Track Day at Sandown, and here with Craig Dean. How are you, mate? And Paulie Hallam. And you can hear some Mustangs going in the background. Is that the plan?
That's the plan. Just open them up.
Open them up. So people who've bought Mustangs, so you don't have to be a Mustang Motorsport customer. Is that the plan?
No, you just got to apply and obviously pay a bit of money, and you get to go.
And you get to go on the track.
And have a thumping great big V8.
That's it. All right. Now the other thing today is we're going to run some Harleys around the track. So
Yes.
you happy with that?
Yep.
Righto. So Paulie, you'll be the black one.
Yep.
The Road Glide.
Yep. Okay.
That's his horse of choice, and I'll take the Street Glide, and there's a few sporties in there. That'd be handy on the track, Paul, you reckon?
Yeah, that Roadster would do well round here, I reckon. But I don't know whether we're allowed to go that fast, are we?
Are we allowed to go fast?
Go as fast as you want, but I reckon you got to slow for the corner, don't you?
There you go. Words of wisdom. And you're going to take this beast?
Yeah, we'll get this out and open it right up and see what we can do along the back straight.
All right, well, you go and do your thing. We'll follow you. Paulie, let's go and get kitted up.
Okay, we'll give it a go.
Righto.
There were plenty of participants kitted up already and eager to take the track. These amateur race drivers were taking full advantage of the freedom of near to no speed limits. And these Mustangs were doing what they were built for. With the sound of these roaring engines, Paul Hallam was keen to hit the track and was more than happy to take the passenger seat in Craig Dean's 780 horsepower, 15-time Australian Tarmac Championship car.
All belted in, ready for action.
Yep.
Nice and safe in the safe hands of Craig. Any special instructions, Craig?
Hang on, smile and enjoy it.
Yeah,
and if you
will
get
do.
scared, scream like a girl.
And try not to soil the seat.
No, don't do that.
But you've got to start it first.
You go give us a push.
Oh, you serious?
Give us a push.
I'll get a crew to push it. You should have paid the extra and got a good battery.
It wasn't long before Craig had Paul on two wheels. Just warming this Mustang up. How about 240 kilometres an hour?
Oh, blessed mother of acceleration.
You think of that?
Love it! Love it!
Craig Dean's a man who knows how to handle a Mustang. So do these two. There to pass on some knowledge to some budding new race drivers.
I think today, specifically with Mustang, is to give them an experience of their cool car on a circuit. People own these cars because they love the Mustang brand and they love what they can do and what they're capable of. And unfortunately, on the roads, you're not able to feel that and exploit that. So I think that's what they've come here today.
Go fast. What else?
What a sensational bit of gear. Well done too, nicely driven. It really's got good brakes too, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, I've been working on it hard.
It's not really short of much at all, is it?
As they were lined up to go out, Paul came in quite content.
Serious fun.
How'd you go with him, mate? Did you?
He was laughing.
Yeah,
Wasn't going fast enough.
He's a speed demon, mate. He's a speed demon. He's a real one.
Dundo had heard enough. It was time to get in the game, and the Harley Davidson Mustang was the chariot. Just one question.
Shall I use the sat nav?
The Sandown's programmed in, so it'll tell you which way to go.
With the Bayford Harley Davidson Mustang a special part of HDTV's fleet, Dundo was keen for some last-minute tips.
Got to have your hands on 9 and 3, they call it now, right?
9 and
so
3,
there,
yeah.
there. I want to see it move around.
Righto.
And you got the right angle here, you want about 90 degrees there, and that's a good position.
And don't talk to your wife while you're driving.
Don't do that, she'll distract you.
All right.
After the break, it's time for the Harleys to hit the track. We're at Sandown Raceway with the Mustang Motorsport team, and today Mustang drivers get the opportunity to put their Mustang through its paces on a real racetrack, and that includes the Bayford Harley Davidson Mustang. But there are rules.
Because it's under, obviously in a track being a controlled environment, they go as quick as they're comfortable to. Doesn't mean they go out of the box and be silly. They work up to get quicker and quicker throughout the day. But obviously all in a controlled environment. That's why we're here, is safety.
Jackie was keeping an eye on some very new speed demons.
So how you feeling, David?
Yeah, good. I'm really excited. It's a fun day, fun car, and I'm really enjoying it.
So when did you take delivery of this?
This morning.
He's a game man.
I've never driven it.
Yeah.
And because of that, they checked, double-checked,
You say it's your first time on the track?
First time.
and that was enough for this to happen. But soon enough, he was out ripping it up. Also there to enjoy the day was Challenge, a foundation all about supporting kids with cancer.
Plenty of room, so don't think you're going to miss out. Got a good hour, you'll have plenty of fun.
Go to a car, hop in, and we'll take you around on a lap. The boys will give it a boot down the main straight for you. Then we'll bring you back and you can swap cars. So you can get a drive in maybe 6 or 7 different types of Mustang.
As the kids shuffled for a ride, Dundo was finishing his final lap. It was time to get the Harleys and the kids from Challenge out on the track.
Righto, now the fun begins.
Craig Dean, driving the HDTV pace car, made sure these riders had something to chase. As the kids from Challenge cruised, they didn't mind the Harleys ripping past. With near to no restrictions on speed, our riders took full advantage. One guy in particular.
Can't see full hell of anywhere.
Pulling into pit lane, the adrenaline had certainly done its job.
Well done, mate.
Oh, mate.
Had you
I've seen you
you've
guys
gunned
up
it.
at brighter days, and it was so good to be here today. Just had a...
I tell you what, you do a bloody good job of it.
Mate, you fly. We were caning it.
Yeah, you get it around like a champ.
Oh, this in a straight line, it'll beat the living crap out of sports bike.
It was nailing these.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What capacity is it?
120.
Yeah, 120. There you go.
Yeah.
Do you like the CVO?
CVO's great.
Geez, you get this along all right.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really good. Corner's really good.
The only problem today was the bloke in the pace car. You.
Slowing us.
I was just being cautious. Safety.
Lindsay, what were you riding?
Here are the Softail.
How'd you go there?
They're a bit more sharper, the old running boards now. grind.
How is it? Just gorgeous. Look, even the patina on the bags and the seat and everything. The real deal. Might not be the fastest bike there, but nearly the coolest, I reckon.
Andy here. I'm on an XR 1200 2008 model, and I had an absolute ball. This is the best thing to do. If you want to get out, it's freedom of the track. There's no one coming the other way. You can just ride to your limits in a safe, secure environment. It's great.
G'day, I'm Link. I'm the bass player in Screaming Eagles, and I was lucky enough to get a spot on one of the bikes today. Thanks to HDTV, they gave me this 2017 Roadster 1200. It's a much lighter bike, handles really well, so through the corners it was great. It was a dream. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic.
Well, Paulie, that's it. Fun day, track day.
Fun, the operative word, absolutely.
Cancer kids are all going around, they were all in the slow cars.
Yeah, great effort by the whole thing, and really it was good to see them out in all those classics and the classics out there too. No.
So get yourself a Mustang, get yourself a performance car, or get a motorbike and have a bit of fun.
What a great day at Sandown. And after the break, we go back to Dundo's bike build with McCulley Customs. Last time on Dundo's bike build, Dundo had dropped his 2006 Dynalowrider off to the McCulleys, Matt and Danny, who do custom bikes and parts. While Dundo was in Sturgis with a bunch of mates, Matt and Danny came up with the design. Once approved, the build began. Younger brother Kenny popped up to give the boys a hand. The wheels and tank were done, and the rear guard was almost complete, with just a touch of class to be fitted.
The rear lights, tail lights, brake lights, indicators are all fitted and hidden inside that rear guard. We'll trim this top part of the guard back, so then these LEDs will fit inside those nice and snug. Our panel, we'll incorporate the panel over the top and bottom to tie it all in, and then we'll make a perspex lens that will cover all of those globes.
When it's finished, it looks fantastic.
Now that the rear end is taking shape, it's time for the wheels to get the bling.
We use Huntingdale all the time. These guys know what they're doing. It's really easy to get it wrong. They do bike parts all the time.
All we're going to do is just clean them up, just take a little bit of the dullness away for them, make sure there's no polishing compound in them.
The McCulleys have been very selective on the parts they want chromed for this bike. Its overall understated look will let these wheels be a real feature.
We cleaned them, we went through all the pre-treatment part of it. We've gone through the initial nickel plating to give it a nice shiny coating, and then we've gone through the two of the copper plating processes, and then that'll be followed up by a chrome plating process. How's that for nice, bright, shiny chrome? You should love those.
Chroming complete, the wheels will be sent to McCulleys.
Done.
Meanwhile, the front end has arrived from the USA.
Now that the front end's arrived, we can use the mock-up wheel from Dragway to set the front end up and get a good look at the bike.
Next on the list for Danny are the bars.
Lay a root weld first for the strength, and then afterwards I put a build-up weld so we can cosmetically take it back clean, because I want to get these chromed. The last bit there, that's what your grips and controls mount to.
Danny wanted these bars to be a work of art. Not only do they need to look good, but where they sit for the riding position is equally as important.
The boys rang me and said they had something special for the bars, which I said, hey, go for it. And they said, but we're not going to go chrome. I had my heart set a bit on chrome bars, but if it's good, I don't care.
Does he know he's getting these bars? I know he knew he was getting something good.
Yeah, he knows the concept sort of, but we've gone a little bit more
out there.
Yeah, it's better than just a straight, because we set a drag style bar on it and he was happy with that. He's not going to expect this.
The bars are now well underway and the front end partly assembled. A couple more adjustments and it's time to start fitting together all the pieces.
On a project like that, I probably spend 70% of the time looking at the bike. Probably 30% is actually hands-on work.
This bike will be mocked up and stripped down constantly as new custom parts are designed and built.
I'm forever changing things, like the concepts change in my head the further along I get along in a build. Now that upsets Matt a lot, but in my eyes I sort of say, hey, I'm in control here, it's my build, I'm doing it.
Now this Dyna is going to have air ride suspension, so to run air ride suspension you need a compressor. Now on these bikes it's a little bit hard to find places to hide the compressors because they're reasonable size. So the ideal spot for this compressor was to build a shroud at the front of the engine. We're going to mount this under the voltage regulator. We're going to panel in all of this section, build a little nose cone scoop with a grill, and as well as a feature, it will also be a nice little hiding spot for the air rod compressor. What we have here is an Arnott air ride suspension system. This will be fully compressed on the bike's at its park height. On the other side we'll mount a toggle switch, so when the bike is in operation ready to ride, that'll lift up to about 11.6 inches. It works in two ways. One thing, it hides the compressor, but it gives the bike a nice cool look, nice lines, just to fill that gap in between the down tubes and the front fender.
When I get to here, it'll be the same principle. We'll get the compressor in mounted. That should only step out to around there. So from the bottom, I'll have it coming up and then having that section moulded into it like that. So all this will be one piece.
It took a bit of work. We mucked around with cardboard, sheet metal, one design, two design, three designs. Finally, we pulled it off.
Hey, Paul from Dragway. How you doing, mate? Good, mate. How you doing?
These rims have been a major part of this build. Let's hope they look the goods.
No good timing, mate. We're just going to put on the front end. Really? Oh, yeah.
When Paul from Dragway finally brought the wheels in, we opened up the box and, mate, it was f***ing awesome seeing these things. I mean, we first of all, we pictured them in a little bit of satin maybe, but once seeing that chrome, we knew that was it.
Beautiful, mate.
I wanted these wheels to look like they were going fast, even when the bike was sitting still. And I do think these RF 300s pulled that off.
Good.
After the break, the bike comes to a standstill, and there's a war brewing. So far from conception, Dundo's 2006 Dynalowrider has had some massive transformations. In the design, Matt and Danny have agreed on most things, but all that's about to change.
Once the front end was on, we thought, okay, now it's time to get to this front guard, the last piece left.
I knew exactly what the f*** I wanted.
It's staying like that. Matt had an idea in his head of what he thought the front guard should look like. Now, his idea to me, it wasn't f***ing happening.
The thing is, you always say nah until I do it, and then you go, oh, it's alright, doesn't it? You can't see what I'm saying.
It was the other way around, mate. That was already on as a full guard.
That's right. You kept saying trim it, and I for once, I listened. And I did, and I'm not happy.
I don't give a that's why it's staying. Don't worry about the front end, I'm talking about the overall tin work. It's got to be short.
Who's going to be doing this? You or Matt?
This front guard is the final piece of fabrication for this bike. The importance of matching the overall flow and feel is crucial and has caused a standoff.
I had Matt ring me, and then I had Dan ring me, and I didn't know what the was going on. They were in the middle of a punch-on about this front end and the front guard.
Yeah, well, it's
When it comes to that front guard, I think the bike probably sat there for a week stagnant. Probably nothing was touched on that bike. And it was simply because I thought, he wants this, I want something completely different. And I thought, well, I'm not touching it if it's not going my way.
Said it from day one when we did it. It's been like that for a week. It's still
Let's get your ass in a gear then and tin it up. It'll look fine.
No, I'm not going to tin it up because I'm not happy with how it looks.
Come on, change that guard, man. I'm telling you.
Well, I will be.
No, you won't.
Oh, yeah.
Bullshit. That's staying.
It was too dainty, it was too soft for the bike. It needed something a bit heavier on it. To me, it looked like something you'd stick on the front of a dirt bike.
You know what it is? You've never done anything like this. You've always done the heavy guards.
I haven't.
No, you haven't. One of us had to give. Both designs would have worked. I think to make us both happy, whether we believe it or not, we both come to a compromise.
I don't look at it as a compromise. No. It went down my way.
If you want that big look, you might as well stick that on the front, mate.
Here we go, here comes the medium.
That looks a little front, Dad. That's a nice big front to match that one you've got.
Matt got a little bit of his way. Good majority of it was my way. But it's good to have. Me and Matt, we go head to head occasionally. throws a bit of excitement into your day.
You still got big brother syndrome.
That all sorted, it's back to business.
I had to get onto the swing arm on the bike. I tell you, that thing, it was a f***ing headache.
In the design stage, they mentioned that the swing arm was going to be different, one of a kind, and it was going to look great. I was hoping that they were right.
Starting off with that swing arm, I had to basically take all the dimensions from the Dyna itself, the swing arm, the shock section in it. Also, we wanted the bike to sit a little bit lower, so I had to take that into account on the mounting of my shocks. Once that was done, we got the steel laser cut, then it came to moulding the steel into shape. Now that's probably the most critical part because you need the accuracy. I went down to my mate Pete's factory and we used his 100-ton press to slowly manipulate into the shape that we needed. After the swinger, we've got the final profile that we need. From then on there, it's a lot of clean back work before the other layers of plate to create a 3D effect go on. The polishing side of it, you probably got to go through 4 to 5 different processes of different grades to try and clean it all back. I probably spent as much time polishing it as I did from day one measuring it right up to the stage of having a finished part, then polishing was that time again. It's different, no one does this. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to go that way about it. Me and Matt had spoke about machining it, or I thought, well, anyone can machine it. To make it by hand is a different thing. So that's why I went down that path.
I personally think the swing arm on this bike is a work of art. Danny did a fantastic job on it. I even actually told him I was proud of him. I don't often tell him that, even though I do think it a lot. I don't pump his tyres up too much because